Hey crafty creatures, welcome to the third and final episode of our little Animal Friends of Pika Pow trilogy. We are crocheting from Animal Friends of Pika Pow 2 and we have made one of the easiest patterns, one of the intermediate patterns, and in this episode we are making one of the 3-star or difficult patterns from this book. There are only 5 difficult patterns in this book, and in my opinion the most difficult one is on the cover, and that is the lion. So that's what we will be crocheting today.
In my opinion, any pattern with crochet hair is definitely a difficult pattern, and it's not usually one that I would gravitate to. Some people definitely enjoy the challenge of it, however, I am not some of those people. While it looks so cute once it is complete, there is just so much work involved in actually creating crochet hair, so I am definitely not looking forward to doing that for this pattern. However, I'm leaving it to the end, so that is future me's problem. In the meantime, I will go through the backstories of the 5-star characters, and of course, because we are crocheting Sebastian the Lion, we are going to be going through his story first. So he is a screenwriter and a puppeteer. He knew exactly what he wanted to be from the first minute of the first time he watched The Dark Crystal. He couldn't believe his own eyes. All the work behind the scenes, the months, even years needed to create such a fantastic animated world using only dolls and strings and a lot of pretty intricate mechanics, but that's something he would learn later. That same day, he began to build his first puppet. Luckily, his friends James Duck, who had just started collecting antiques, got Sebastian all the necessary materials to set up the sceneries and props. Over time, he gathered a small puppet company. After having worked on several major animated films and series, he is now working hard on his writing skills to venture into the world as a screenwriter. There is also Nara the tigress. Nara has always described herself as a crafter. Weaving, crocheting, knitting, macrame, you name it, she has mastered all of these techniques. She also has a second job. She is a designer at a technology lab where she applies all her crafts to create fabrics of sustainable and recycled materials that can be used in different areas of science and construction. But Nara doesn't usually talk about her job a lot because many people get bored with the technicalities or simply think she's bragging about it. She prefers to go unnoticed, sitting quietly in a cafe, knitting scarves while imagining how to tackle the next big fabric challenge. That sounds like a lot of us crocheters. I think I would love to just sit in a cafe with a lovely cup of coffee and crochet away the day. Javier Goat is the third 3-star patterns, and he works along his relatives in the olive groves of his town in southern Spain. They produce the best olive oil in the region, and he is super proud to be a part of this. He also has a special horticultural dream of his own. On his last trip to visit his aunt, Marcia Alpaca, he fell in love with Peruvian agriculture. With the help of the seeds that Marcia gave him, Javi began to grow various varieties of corn, potatoes, and tomatoes on his land. His dream is to cultivate all the varieties that once existed in South America, recover the original flavors, and treat the earth gently. While waiting for his crops to grow, he spends hours knitting, and he is thinking about learning how to dye and spin his own yarn as well. Monty Tamandio is the next one on our list, and he is a gardener who has the good fortune to live in an incredible landscape, the Valle de Luna Regio in Uruguay. He has a house at the top of Quebrancho, his favorite tree, where he likes to spend most of his time drinking mate and eating churros with honey, just a bit because he doesn't want to abuse the generosity of his bee friends. Every day before sunset, he puts some juicy fruits and a notebook in his bag and makes his daily tour of the valley. Monty has to check the health of all his trees and make sure that the insects are doing their jobs. Monty usually prefers to be alone, but once a month he meets with Rene Yacacarmen and Marcos Coyote to exchange data on the regions they work in and discuss the book they are writing together. Lupita Spider Monkey is the final 3-star pattern. Since she first heard Space Oddity, Lupita knew that she was going to devote her life to 2 things: go into space to travel beyond the frontiers of monkeykind and learn how to dance on roller skates. Lupita knows that her dreams aren't easy to achieve. She spends almost all of her time studying, and when she can no longer read another word or formula, she puts on her skates, puts on her David Bowie playlist, and goes off to practice. Studying to go to space is a challenge, but dressing in jumpsuits and sequences and dancing with roller skates without being embarrassed is one of the most difficult things anyone can ever think of. Crocheting through the Animal Friends of Pica-Pow series has taught me a thing or two along the way. The way that Jan Shankel organizes her patterns makes it so easy to follow. The instructions are very clear, and it is a very beginner-friendly series of books. You won't be disappointed if you decided to delve into these patterns. They are absolutely amazing. I started out as a beginner crocheting the first Pica-Pow book, and I learned so much from making those patterns. So if you're just starting out, I highly recommend that one to you. There is a little bit more complexity in her patterns from the second and third book, so the first one is definitely a good place to start, but by all three, they are absolutely fabulous. Every pattern has something new for you to learn, and all of the characters turn out incredibly cute. Similar sizes as well. It's very consistent and gorgeous.
The lion is done after what feels like an eternity. This guy has so much hair on him. 17 rounds to be exact. It is a little bit crazy to think about, and it is quite dense, that hair. She did mention in the pattern of the head that when you change to brown yarn, you could do those rows or rounds in the back loop and leave the front loop for you to slip stitch into when you get to the main section. And I did actually follow that advice, and it made the main section a lot easier. It was so easy to find the stitch that I needed to slip stitch into next, especially when you got to like the middle section and there is just a lot of hair just playing around and you have to try and navigate where your stitches are. But that is definitely the most complex part of this pattern and where the 3-star difficulty level comes from. Everything else was fairly simple to do. You just had to know how to do basic color changes for like the face and his pants and things like that. But apart from that, it was super simple, just a long time to do his hair. And if you're anything like me, that's probably something that you would not want to do again for another couple months after doing this guy. It took me so long and I'm a bit sick of hair right now. But yeah, he is so incredibly cute. I am really glad that I made him. And his pants are removable, his scarf is removable, so you could make multiple outfits for him as well, which is so cute. But yeah, I love how he turned out. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. But if you guys enjoyed this little trilogy from the Animal Friends of Pica-Pow 2, please let me know in the comments below. And if you have recommendations of another book I should do a similar video series on, let me know as well. I do have plenty of amigurumi books, so I'm sure I'll be able to find the next one to do. This was really, really fun, and just got to try out lots of different patterns and test my patience, especially with this one. But it was still very fun to do. I love all of Jan Shankel's patterns. But thank you so much for watching this video and this trilogy. If you did like this, I think you would also like my review of the first Animal Friends of Pica-Pow series, which you can watch right here. I will see you there. Bye.